Hello my friends, welcome to the start of a new weekly reading vlog. It is Monday, April 18th. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the month and I still have a ton of books that I need to read. So this week is exciting because one of my most anticipated books of the year comes out tomorrow on Tuesday, and that is Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse. I am going to be buddy reading this with Becky from Bex Reads. We both really loved the first book, so we're both very highly anticipating the second book, and I cannot wait. I don't know if we're going to be starting it right away tomorrow or not. I'll have to get in touch with her and find out, but yeah, that's the book I'm most excited about reading this week. So I'm going to be reading that. I also did start this book at the end of last week's vlog and just didn't have time to get through it with everything going on Sunday, Easter Sunday. So I am 50 pages into this one, and my plan for today is to finish this book, which I should be able to do, which I said that before, but like I don't have anything going on today, so I should be able to finish it. This is 327 pages. I'm pretty sure that I can knock this out in a day, and I want to be ready and available for Fevered Star when it comes out tomorrow. Welcome to a new vlog. Hope you enjoy, and I will give you an update once I have made some progress. Good morning, friends. It is the next day. I'm an absolute mess this morning because I was crying last night because of this book. It made me cry, it made me sob. Eyes are still a little swollen, and I started my period today and everything hurts. So I'm in bed right now. But I finished the book last night. I finished The Space Between Worlds, and I absolutely, oh my goodness. I think I explained what this was about last week, so let me summarize it again. This takes place in a future where multiverse travel is possible. The only stipulation, however, is that you cannot travel to a parallel universe where your doppelganger is still alive. That makes our main character, Kara, very valuable because out of the 382 other worlds that they're able to travel to, she is dead in all but 8 of them, I believe. And so she is used very frequently to travel between worlds and gather information. The story kind of gets started when Kara is called to a world where her doppelganger was recently murdered, which leads her to discover some things about the company that she works for, that maybe they're keeping some secrets from the rest of the world, but she is also keeping a secret herself. So that's kind of what the story is about. I don't want to say too much more than that because I honestly feel like you should go into this book almost completely blind and just enjoy it and just know that it's about multiverse travel, which is one of my favorite tropes, my favorite devices in a story. And I love that trope, that device, because I think it's so cool. I love stories that explore this particular topic in this particular way. I feel like in the story, the idea of traveling to other universes and seeing other selves is a metaphor, because in our heads we live out these other lives all the time. You know, how often do you think about your regrets or decisions that you wish you would have made, things you wish you would have done, or wondering what would have happened if you had chose a different path? Where would that have led you? I feel like as people, we're constantly haunted by those decisions and what would have been, what could have been. So the multiverse in here is a physical thing that you can actually travel in between, but also a metaphor for that, if that makes sense. I loved Kara as a main character because she is so flawed. She's so flawed. She makes so many mistakes, but it makes her so much more real. It makes her so relatable and understandable, and you can't help but root for her or feel for her when something goes wrong, or be emotionally invested like I was. I was completely emotionally invested in everyone in this book. You can see where Kara has come from. Like in this world, the climate is a lot worse than what it is right now. And we have people who live in these walled cities that are protected from the excessive heat of the sun, that are protected from the elements outside. And then we have people who can't afford to live in walled cities that are living outside and how they have to live. Kara is coming from what is considered a very low class, and how that plays into her working environment and the people around her and how people view her is very interesting. I think that this had so many interesting things to say about racism and classism and trauma and capitalism, and also the wonders of science and exploration and scientific progress, but also how those things can be weaponized. This had it all, plus a beautiful, beautiful sapphic romance that I was rooting for from the beginning. I loved everything about this. You can see, do you see all of my tabs? Oh my goodness. Micaiah Johnson's writing, absolutely stunning. And it's not like her writing is necessarily lyrical or poetic or anything like that. It's just stunning. I cannot wait to see what Micaiah Johnson writes in the future, because oh my goodness, I will read absolutely everything from this author. Obviously this was 5 stars. I've been telling you guys all year that sci-fi has been doing it for me this year, and this is no different. Every single sci-fi, I was checking my spreadsheet last night, every single science fiction book that I have read this year has been either 4 or 5 stars. I have not been let down by sci-fi at all so far this year. It was incredible. And it's so short, but it packed so much into such a short package. I just realized that I was probably shaking the camera this whole time. I'm sorry. The camera is propped up on pillows. Probably not the smartest idea, but I have very low energy today. Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse came out today, and I got an ebook copy from my library. I really, really want a physical copy so bad, but after my car broke down last week and I had to spend a ridiculous amount of money to get it fixed, like it was a lot, I can't buy books right now. No book buying for a while. I think that's what I'm gonna be reading today. If not that, maybe I'll pick up something quick. Bit more put together now. I just finished Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe, or I should say Lore Olympus Volume 1. This was fine. So basically this is just a Hades and Persephone retelling, and it has a bunch of the other gods and goddesses in it as well. And it's kind of like a modernized version of the gods, I guess. Yeah, they're in the modern age because they have like cell phones and stuff. Persephone is like just getting out into the world for the first time. Hades sees her at a party and is like instantly attracted to her, and he makes a comment where another god can hear, and so they like trick her, they get her drunk, and she ends up and put her in the back of Hades' car, and then he drives home and notices her there. And that's kind of how they meet. I don't know, it was fine. Like, I love the art style of this. It's really pretty. I love the color palette, but there just wasn't enough story for me. And I've noticed this recently as I've tried to pick up some other comics, that it's such a tiny bit of story. It's not enough for me. It's not enough for me. That's the point. It's like the story is not enough. There's not enough substance to the story for me to really enjoy it. Maybe if I had like the second volume, or if I had a bunch of different volumes back to back and read them all back to back, I would probably enjoy the experience a lot more. Nothing happens in here, to be honest. It's not satisfying for me. I gave it 3 stars. I don't know if I'm gonna continue on and read the second volume. I kind of don't want to buy it. I mean, these are expensive for the tiny bit of story that you get, and I totally understand, because like the art, you know, the art work is what makes it so expensive. But at the same time, like, I'll let you know how Fevered Star is going once I get started on it. Friends, it is Saturday. Haven't updated you in a while. I think the last time we spoke was Tuesday. You haven't missed much. I haven't been doing much this week, and I have not finished a book since Tuesday. So I did start Fevered Star. I think I told you that. I am very close to finishing it. I think I'm like 70% of the way through. Yeah, I'm 79% through Fevered Star. Really enjoying it so far. It's different from the first book in that like the first book was very action heavy, even though we still got those like quiet moments with the characters. This book is more of those moments with some action sprinkled in, but there's a lot of setup going on and a lot of moving characters into place for what I'm assuming is going to be a very explosive ending. So I'm very excited for that. My plan is to finish it today, but I just have not been reading at my normal speed this week. I've been very slow when it comes to reading, mostly because I'm kind of out of it this week, and it's mostly because of my uterus and my migraines. It's been that kind of week. And this weekend is actually my wedding anniversary. So me and my husband are celebrating 8 years together, or 8 years of marriage anyway. Our anniversary is officially tomorrow. So I don't know how much reading I'm gonna get done this weekend. I would just like to finish the books that I'm in the middle of. That's all I'm hoping for right now. But yeah, I thought I would just come on here and give you an update since you haven't seen my face in a while. I think I may have added some B-roll of some things that I was up to this week. I did go to Barnes & Noble and I did not buy a book. For the first time, I think, in my life, I went to a bookstore and left empty-handed. I've never done that before. I held Fevered Star in my hands and put it back on the shelf because I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to save money until this summer. Continuing to hold back on purchasing books is probably gonna mean that when I can buy books again, I'm going to overindulge. I'm gonna like drop $200 on books in one go. I know that's what's gonna happen. But for right now, unfortunately, I cannot buy books. So yeah, that is what's going on. I will give you an update once I've finished Fevered Star. Hopefully that will be today. Hello friends, it is time to wrap up this vlog. It's actually Monday. Completely forgot to update you yesterday, but I did manage to finish 2 more books. So I did finish Fevered Star on Saturday, and I really enjoyed it, but I was also disappointed by it. And I know that sounds weird, but without saying too much, this book did a lot of things differently than the first book, and I feel like it almost had a different tone or vibe. The first book was very action-packed. This second book, not so much. It was more focused on character growth and development. In particular, there's a character named Narampa, and in the first book, I didn't like her, but I liked her perspective. I found it very intriguing, everything that was going on with her. In this book, by the end of this book, I ended up loving her. Like, she went through such a journey. Her growth and her arc was absolutely incredible in this book. So it was things like that. It was things like a shift of focus, I feel, from the characters and the things in the first book. We have a new perspective in the second book from a character that was present in the first book but didn't have as big a role. And then, like I said, we spent a lot of time with Nara and just like working on her journey. I was disappointed because I didn't get the time that I wanted with Serapio or Shiala. There was questions I had about her and her magic from the first book that nothing got answered in the second book. And we have characters that are separated throughout the entire book, and that was frustrating. But I loved the themes in here. I loved the idea of like breaking the cycle of this generational enmity, I guess. Like, yes, our peoples in the past have been enemies and have fought, but we don't have to continue this war. We can bring peace. We can choose our own path. And I really liked the things that this book was saying and doing. I thought it was great, and I liked it for what it was. I liked it for what it did. It was a good book. I gave it 5 stars, but it didn't do what I wanted it to do, so I'm still disappointed, and the ending was really abrupt. It left me wanting more, and now I'm gonna have to wait for the third book. Like, not the book I was expecting to get, not the story that I was expecting to get in the second book, but the story that we did get, I really enjoyed anyway, if that makes sense. So I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, really enjoyed my time with it. But I want and need more, and I'm gonna be dying until the third book comes out, whenever that comes out. Okay, and then, so I finished that on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I read The Hole by Hiroko Oyamada. Yeah, this is a very weird, bizarre book. So in this, we're following Asa. Asa's husband gets transferred to a different area for his work. So they're moving from the city to the countryside. So it's a very different lifestyle for our main character. She had to quit her job in order to make this move, and so she's just kind of idling right now where she's at, kind of has a crisis and is trying to contemplate what to do with her life, and then a series of strange, bizarre things happen that make absolutely no sense. Listen, I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know how to describe this to you guys. I really don't. I was dreading having to talk about this book because, first of all, I don't want to come off as ignorant. Like, maybe I just didn't get it. But this, I honestly don't know what to say about this. The synopsis makes it sound like something that it really isn't. So the synopsis says Asa's husband is being transferred and the young couple move next door to his family's home in the Japanese countryside. True. Asa tries to readjust to their remote rural lives until one day she comes across a strange creature. Also true. So she comes across, that's the other thing. She comes across this strange dog, but not dog, with fangs, but it's some kind of strange creature she's never seen before. No one else seems to see it but her. And she follows it and ends up falling into a hole. And I thought that was going to be the start of the story. That doesn't happen until halfway through the book. It says that the hole seems to have been made specifically for her. The series of bizarre experiences that follow, Asa begins to question her role in this world. The whole thing was bizarre. It wasn't like she fell into a hole and then discovered something or things happened. Like, the whole thing was just strange and awkward and weird. The dialogue felt really stilted. So, okay, this is a translation. It's translated from Japanese, and I have a feeling that maybe lots of things got lost in translation. I feel like this whole book was supposed to be a metaphor. For what, I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was trying to comment on societal standards and societal norms, particularly for women. But did it do that? You know what I mean? I feel like I'm missing something here because there was no story, and it was just the most weird, most awkward thing I have ever read. I also went into this thinking it was going to be magical realism because that's what it was apparently supposed to be, and it's not. This was an experience, and it wasn't a good one. And I don't know how to describe this because it doesn't make sense. There's no story here. Nothing happens. It's just like day after day of her life in the countryside and then random bizarre encounters that she has. It makes no sense. I'm fully willing to blame it on the translation. Like, I'm not a translator, but I'm pretty sure that it's a difficult job. It has to be a difficult job to translate something from one language to another, and especially when there's words or phrases that don't translate well or at all. I'm sure it's difficult. So maybe that's what happened. So yeah, that was the book I read on Sunday. All in all, this week I read a total of 4 books, which is not bad, but I'm still behind on my April TBR, and I really had wanted to read more than that this week, but it's okay. We're gonna have to catch up next week because it's the last week of the month. But yeah, let's go over everything I read in this vlog. The first book I finished this week was The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. This was my favorite book of the vlog. I loved it so much, and I did not, like, this came out of nowhere. I did not expect to love this as much as I did, but this was incredible. I had a great time with it, and I cannot wait. I've heard like rumors, I've seen things, heard some inklings of there being another book set in this world that Micaiah is currently writing, and if that's true, I'm so excited for that. I will pick up absolutely everything that this author writes. And then I read Lore Olympus, which I almost completely forgot about because it was so forgettable. I don't get the hype for this one. I ended up giving it 3 stars, and honestly that's being very generous. I gave it 3 stars because like the art is beautiful, but that's about all it has going for it. There's no story here, nothing happened. So 3 stars for this, which may be too high, but that's okay. And then of course I read Black Sun, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars, my second favorite book of this video. And then The Hole by Hiroko Oyamata, which unfortunately I'm giving 1 star. I feel bad about it, but I really don't want to talk about it ever again. So that is that. Those are the books that I read this week. Talk to me down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts or opinions about the books that I read this week. You know I love hearing from you in the comments, but that's gonna be it for this video. Hit thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.